Hey everybody, so I came across this tweet on my Twitter feed today and I felt I needed to address this argument because it crops up quite a lot as an argument against people who are speaking out against the Muslim grooming gangs, and especially it's targeted against Tommy Robinson, which this person here is doing. And this is from Sonia Poulton, who is an affiliate of GB News, and she says this: Tommy Robinson is not a champion of the children. For fuck's sake. If he was, he'd also be fighting against the abuse in the Catholic Church, royal circles, Parliament, football training programmes and boarding schools. No, Robinson's interest is not in children, but in the Pakistani men. Let's be clear. Well, of course his interest is in the Pakistani men. They're the ones that are doing the grooming. Why would his interest not be in the Pakistani men when they're the ones doing the grooming? And to suggest this as an argument that he's racist in some way, just because he's not tackling other groups that are doing paedophilia, is just crazy. People are allowed to focus on things that are important to them. That's what investigative journalists do. Some of them specialise in a special area, and that's what they investigate. Some tackle drugs, some tackle organised crime. Tommy Robinson tackles the Muslim grooming gangs and child trafficking in the north. That's what he's doing. Your argument is fucking pathetic. And I know I'm swearing because I'm angry, because I'm sick and tired of these people coming out of the woodwork. Alright? Tommy Robinson has been talking about this issue since before it was popular and safe to do so. What have you done? What have you done to address this? Because the same argument could be used against you, Sonia, couldn't it? You know, if you're just focused on the Catholic Church, the royal circles, Parliament, football training programmes and boarding schools, it could say that you're not really interested in the children because you don't focus directly on Muslim grooming gangs. That's how shit your argument is. Your logic can also be used against you too. And she goes on to say this: I don't write tweets to deliberately provoke or to be clickbait. Yeah, right, whatever. You're jumping on a bandwagon. Clickbait, but if I accidentally trigger Twitter racist, how are people triggered if they're in support of Tommy Robinson tackling Muslim grooming gangs? It's an epidemic. It's at an epidemic scale in the north, and it was covered up by police, social workers, local councils. Can you say that about the things that you mentioned in your first tweet? No, you can't. These girls were denied help. In some cases, the police were actively working against them, saying it was their fault they were being abused and trafficked. Tommy Robinson was highlighting this fact. You're a shite journalist. You shouldn't even call yourself a journalist. You're part of the problem. Anyway, she goes on to say this: trigger Twitter racist when I consider that a bonus. Have a beautiful day, you all. The only reason that you are talking about this at all, like I said before, is because now it's considered safe to do so. You can talk about it because the reports have come out and, you know, it's safe for you to talk about it. That's not journalism. Journalism takes risk. Tommy Robinson took risks when he first started talking about Muslim grooming gangs, both to his family's life, his life, and the people that work with him. Can you say that? Have you been to these communities? Have you spoken to these girls? Interviewed them about their stories? Investigated what's happened to them? Because I can assure you, if you did, you'd be on the same page as Tommy Robinson is now. You're an absolute disgrace of a journalist. You're just jumping on a bandwagon to score yourself some virtue signalling points. And like I said before in a previous video, you people are trying to take credit for highlighting Muslim grooming gangs now. I'm not going to allow you to do that because you weren't prepared to do what Tommy Robinson was prepared to do. Risk everything. You're just coming out of the woodwork now when it's safe to talk about these things. You're pathetic. You're all pathetic. The mainstream media is pathetic, in my opinion, for the way it's treated Tommy Robinson. It's berated him. It's called him a racist. It's called him far right for simply wanting to help young, abused, raped, trafficked girls. You're an absolute disgrace, the lot of you. Don't think you're part of the solution, Sonia, because you're not. You're actually the problem. You're the type of person that created this atmosphere that allowed this to happen. That created this atmosphere where if people spoke out against these Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs, then they will be labelled racist. Exactly what you're trying to do to Tommy Robinson now. The reason those girls went through years and years of abuse without any help is because of people like you. Let that sink in. Don't think of yourself as a good person, because you're not. You're disgusting. You disgust me. This is Vindicator, signing off.